What's going on, everybody? T Flame here, and today I just wanted to continue a discussion that I mentioned in my previous video talking about the Nintendo Direct. And this video is just going to be focusing on why I think 2023 needs and ultimately is going to be when we see the Nintendo Switch Pro. Now, this is just going to be recapping some of the points I said in that vid and expanding on them here. So, the main thing that I wanted to say is that look at the Switch library as it stands right now, right? It seems like pretty complete if you think about it. Like we have our Smash Brothers game that's complete. You got the Mario Kart, you got the Mario Odyssey, you know. Usually these type of games you don't get multiple on one system. Like Smash Brothers, no system has had multiple Smash Brothers games. Or mainline Mario games, usually you only get like one of those every time there's a big console upgrade. And then you have the Mario sports games, which you can continue to pump out, I guess. But in terms of like, I guess, main titles, first party titles, Nintendo pretty much has hit all their bases. You got Splatoon. We're getting ready to get Zelda in next year, right? And so I really think that we're at the point where the only real upgrade Nintendo could do, granted they could always keep making games for the Switch, but I think the next big upgrade they could do is just like an upgrade to the Switch itself. Why? And then another reason behind this is that before, a lot of games would release alongside a Nintendo console in addition to Xbox and PlayStation, right? Now we're starting to get to the point where games are coming to the Switch significantly after PlayStation titles. Like Persona 5 has been on the PS3 and we're just now getting it on the Switch. And a lot of the problem with that is that for example, look at the console that was out back with the PS3. What was that? The Wii. The Wii would not be able to handle a PS3 game, right? And so the Switch, we're starting to get to a point where the Switch can't really handle a lot of the newer games that are coming out. So companies have to find themselves kind of like making lesser versions. And like you're getting a lot of older games on Nintendo consoles now. Like you got the Assassin's Creeds on Nintendo console and whatnot. Even things like Mortal Kombat, you know, they really are struggling on the Switch. And so I think that if Nintendo wants to keep up, I think it'd be amazing to be able to compete with compete with other consoles, being like, hey yo, you know Elden Ring, you can play that on the go on the new Nintendo Switch Pro, right? Or it would really give Nintendo the opportunity to capitalize on a lot of newer games that are coming out. Like we could get all the Kingdom Hearts games, we could get Final Fantasy, like because a lot of Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 7 remake, could not run on the Switch. Like just it as it stands right now, it just would not be able to run quality, right? And the Switch is not really built for all these like over 100 gigabyte, 50 gigabyte, 80 gigabyte games, right? And so I really think we're at the point where if Nintendo really wants to, I not even really wants to, I just think in order to keep the Switch relevant, we have all the staples, the Mario's, the Smash Brothers, and everything, and Pokemon, of course. But I think we're really at the point where Nintendo, the only thing really new they could do is get a console upgrade, and then you could that could literally be next year. Play a bunch of games in 4K resolution, like Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade. That would give Nintendo a lot. And that literally is just a market all in itself, being like, I mean, it's all Nintendo's already partnering with Square Enix and Xbox, and so it could easily bring a lot of these really high quality games to a upgraded type Switch. And so I think that that is really the next step. I know Nintendo has never really been the company to push the most powerful console, but honestly, if we get a Switch with the power of the PlayStation 4, maybe PlayStation 4 Pro, that would be amazing. Like 4K output and then maybe 1080p resolution on the little screen. Like that would be dope. And I really think that that would be something that would bring a lot of sales and revitalize Nintendo. Like, imagine being able to play a lot of these AAA games, like freaking Elden Ring and a lot of open world games and whatnot. These really like high gigabyte level games on the go. I know the Steam Deck has that, right? But I mean, Nintendo is I want to say, the defining of portable gaming. And so, if Nintendo really wants to be able to compete with the Steam Deck, it has to be able to step it up. I mean, Nintendo has exclusives, but Nintendo can only run on, I mean, Nintendo can run on its exclusives. Like, Nintendo can just focus solely on its exclusives, right? But the thing is, Nintendo doesn't really do that, and they wouldn't continually focus on their own exclusives because there's been a huge push towards third party games in the past few years. Like I mentioned Square Enix and a bunch of other, I know I've mentioned Square Enix a lot, but there's been a lot of collaboration with Square Enix. I mean, and third parties. Look at Smash Brothers. That's the biggest example of that. And Nintendo knows its fan base loves third party. And so, in order to fully capitalize on third party, you would really need a console that could really capitalize on that. And we're at the perfect time. I mean, a lot of games are pretty much complete this year. There are a lot of good games, but going into next year, I mean, we don't really have that much to expect. I mean, Bayonetta, and then we have Breath of the Wild 2, and then that's about it. Maybe a new Pokemon game, but I mean, I really think, I know I've repeated this multiple times, so I guess I'll wrap this video up. But I'm just saying, like, it just seems the perfect time. Next year being the perfect year. I think the ideal year, and I'm pretty sure, like, just that next year has to be the year for the Switch Pro. I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think we're going to get a Switch Pro or some sort of upgrade? I don't think we're going to get a whole new console. I think it's going to be an upgrade to the Switch, like a new Nintendo. They'll probably call it the new Nintendo Switch or something like that. It'd be cool if it was like the Nintendo Switch Ultra or something. But it's definitely we're going to keep the Switch library. I'm not saying like we're going to get a whole new console, like a next-gen console. Well, this would have next-gen type capabilities, but it wouldn't be like a next gen thing. Like it would still be a Nintendo Switch, but I think it's just gonna be an upgrade to it. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm excited to hear y'all thoughts, and I hope we get this new Switch next year. See y'all.